Okay, so we'll talk about multi-dimensional arrays. Okay, to declare a multi-dimensional array, define the variable type, specify the name of the array, followed by square brackets, which specify how many elements the main array has, followed by another set of square brackets, which indicate how many elements the sub-arrays have. So multi-dimensional arrays are just like arrays within arrays. Okay, you declare one array, and then inside the array, there are other arrays. Okay. For instance, we have an array, okay, and inside this array, we have other arrays. This is just an example which illustrates or tries to explain what has been mentioned here, okay? We call these as dimensional arrays, okay? So we have been told to say to declare a multi-dimensional array, you specify the data type. For instance, here we have specified strings, okay? String, and then letters. That's the name of the array. And then the first square brackets are telling us the number of elements that are going to be in the outer array. It's like the parent array, okay? Then the second square brackets are telling us, so since this is telling us we're going to have two, so meaning that the parent array is going to have two other arrays, okay, which are separated by commas, of course, okay. Okay, and each of the arrays inside the main array has got 4 elements each, and that is the reason why these have got A, B, C, and D. Then this one has got 1, 2, 3, 4, E, F, G, and H. Okay, that is how you declare the multi-dimensional arrays. Okay. So each set of square brackets in an array declaration adds another dimensional array. So you can have multiple square brackets if you want to have arrays within arrays within arrays within arrays, okay? But that it makes the situation more complex and very difficult to understand, okay? For example, here we've been given a different scenario where we're using string letters. The parent array has got 2 arrays, okay? Let's try to draw this one. The parent array, okay? The parent array has got 2 arrays, okay? Has got 2 arrays, okay? It has got 2 arrays. And this array has got 2 arrays in each, okay? So this one has got 2 arrays. Are you able to understand these drawings I'm making? Okay, so the parent array has got 2 arrays. This, the first one, and the second one. Then each of the inner arrays has got 2 arrays. This one and this one, then this one and this one. Then also the last arrays, the inner arrays have got 2 elements in them. A and B, C and D, E and F, G and H. This is the demonstration of this here, okay? when you write multi-dimensional arrays, they become complex to understand, but they are very handy in game development. So how do we access the elements of a multi-dimensional array? So to access an element in a multi-dimensional array, specify an index number in each of the array's dimension. So what this is telling us, since the first square brackets tell us the elements in the main array, which array do you want to access? Okay, which array do you want to access? And the array start from 0. So if you want to access the first array, what you do is you specify to say in the first square bracket, you put a 0, which is going to be your first array. And in the second square bracket, if you put a 2, it's simply telling us to say inside the first element, the first array, I want you to access the index number 2. Okay, and that is the reason why the output is going to be C if you use 0 and 2. Say you want to access G. How can you access G? To access G, we know that the first element here is 0 and the second element is 1. So in the first square bracket, you put 1, and in the second square bracket, you put 2, because the index of each array inside the parent array also start from 0. So you say 0, 1, 2, and that is the reason why if we are to put 1 and 2, we get the output as G. Okay. Same way we talk to say if we want to change the value of an array, if we want to change the value of an array, we use the index. It is the same way that we use to change the values of elements in multi-dimensional arrays. If we want to change the value of C, we can still access these and then just equate. You use the equation, the equal sign here, and assign a different value, and definitely you get a different value of that position. Okay, these are more like the X or Y plane. You use code, they are more like coordinates. Okay, there's 3 dimension, so this one can be a 2 dimension because you only have the first one and the second one. Okay, 2, 4, 3, 5, that scenario. Okay, so to change, say you want to change the first position in the first array, you use 0, 0, meaning that you are getting A and changing it to Z. That is what is happening here. Okay, so when we get the output of this, instead of us getting the output as A, we're going to see that the output is Z because we have changed the value of the first position, which is 0, 0. Same way, you can access multi-dimensional arrays using for loops, but if you attended the previous class, when you study the notes, you notice to say that we talked about inner loops, okay? Inner for loops. So the outer loop is going to talk about the parent, and the inner for loop is going to talk about the inner arrays, okay? And that is how we access our elements. So for instance, since we say that each array's first element starts from 0, that is the reason why the first for loop here is accessing the parent array, okay, and we have given it a condition to say I is less than 2 because we only have 0 and 1. When we try to access 2, it's going to be area index out of bounds. okay? Index out of bound. And then the inner loop, the inner for loop is starting from 0, but each of them is ending at 3, because when you start from 0, 1, 2, and 3, that is the reason why the inner for loop is less than 4. So when we try to say, when we want to get the output of I, j, so I, say for instance, I is 0 and j is 2. Okay, I is 0, meaning we're getting from the first array, and then j is 2. 0, 1, 2. We are going to get C as the output. And that is how you loop through your dimensional arrays. If you have 3, you use 3. And depending on the number of elements that you have, that is the reason why it is important for you to use the size of the operator to calculate the number of elements that you have, because sometimes you can never know what type of how many elements you have in the array. Okay. Anyway, why should we use multi-dimensional arrays? Okay, so multi-dimensional arrays are great at representing grids. Okay, this example shows a practical use. Okay, so in this situation here, we're given a simple game. Okay, so this game, we say we put 1 to indicate there's a ship. Okay, I'm just going to explain this game so that we can understand and move quickly. It is a game where you want to ask the coordinates from a player or the user to say, give me a particular coordinate, and if there's a 1, then it's a hit. And if there's a 0, then you miss. So the player is going to be entering 2 numbers. So 2 numbers which represent coordinates. Okay. The first coordinate is a row, and the second one is a column, which just give us rows and columns like matrices. Okay, that is what the game is doing. So using these dimensional arrays, we're able to create such a simple game here, and it can be fun to play. You find that you're failing to find the rows, and you're failing to find the coordinates of where the ship is. Okay, but when you find that when you find time to look at the code, you find that when you win, your output is going to be victory, you won, and it's going to tell you the number of times that you tried to play. Okay, and that brings us to the end of today's class. If you have any questions, you are free to ask. Okay. Are there any questions, guys?
It's clear.
Okay. Happy, Emmanuel Chikonde. Are you guys okay with everything?
Yeah, for me, although I joined a bit late,
Okay.
but from what I got, I think it's clear. But I joined a bit late.
Okay, I'm also going to share the notes. Then you can send me messages directly to ask where you're not clear, and I'll be happy to help.
Okay, thank you. Then I will do that.
All right. Okay, guys, I think we've come to the end of the class. We'll meet again on Monday.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.